Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Styles After Dark podcast. Today's episode is going to be the single Pringle episode, y'all. Yeah, you heard it. You heard me right. This is for all the single ass motherfucking Pringles that are out there feeling very single. That's basically what this episode is about. So before we dive in, we're gonna do the tradition here, which is drinking wine while getting deeper. Ding 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 ding. So today we're gonna be drinking Miyomi, I think. I want to shout out Peyton and Alana because I asked for wine recommendations and they both had recommended me this wine. So it's Miyomi from Pinot Noir. Don't come at me for the translation, all right? We are all human. We all, I'm sure, don't know. There's a word out there that we probably don't know how to pronounce. And I'm the worst when it comes to pronunciation. So please just know that about me and don't judge me and leave it the fuck alone. I'm excited because obviously I've never tried this wine before. Do you guys hear that? Okay. Oh my God. Y'all, the wine just spilled everywhere. Okay, we are back. Let's just hope that never happens again. Yeah, we learned from our mistakes here at Styles After Dark. But now it's time for the taste test. So let's go ahead and taste what this wine is all about. Whew. You guys, I am trying so hard to become a real ass wine girly, okay? Because this is tough. Like the bitter wines, I'm more of a sweet girl. So yeah, this is gonna take some time, but we are open-minded here. Let me just try it one more time for the one time. For the one time. Okay, you know what? It's pretty good. For a bitter wine, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 because that's really high for me. So that's what we're going to rate it. So today I really want to talk about being single. I feel like this is a huge thing. I feel like a lot of us are single and I feel like some people may be questioning if they should be single. And there's probably some of us that have been single for a really long time. And it's getting to that point. You know what I mean? Like if you're that person, you're probably like, okay, yeah, like this is getting depressing. I feel like this was something that, you know, I'm going through right now. And I'm sure a lot of other people are going through. I'm hoping that this can really open your guys' eyes. You know, being single isn't such a bad thing. It doesn't need to be a bad thing, but there's definitely layers to this subject because I feel like sometimes we don't take the opportunities that being single can give us. I want to start off with talking about how when you're single, it can feel very lonely. And I think a lot of us experience loneliness when we are single because it is, you know, especially around like holidays and, you know, times when we go through things or, you know, maybe a tragedy happens, that is when we're going to get the most lonely. And that is going to be a struggle for some of us. Being lonely, I've experienced that for a really long time. And I go through seasons of it. But I feel like some of us consistently have that emotion or feeling. We need to start taking the opportunity of being single as a time where we can learn more about ourselves, where we can focus on the things that we need to work on. I know that there's been a lot of times in the past few months that I've realized there's a lot of things I could work on. Sometimes when we get lonely, we start to gravitate towards things that might not be good for us or meant for us. And those things can look a lot like partying, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. We start to, you know, create friendships might not be the best for us, that might not be as genuine. And we might even get into relationships that aren't good for us and that we're settling for. We tend to attract all these things that aren't the best for us. It's important to recognize when you're attracting things out of needing something because you never want to like get into something or start hanging out with someone who you're not even fond of, or someone who you might not even actually like or have feelings for just because of one quality. I am guilty of all these things. And I think that a lot of us, because we're so scared to be alone, we just settle. And then sometimes it can look like distractions and constantly needing something to fill your time. You are constantly, needing to go out and party. And don't get me wrong, it is important to have fun and important to enjoy yourself and do things that you love to do. I feel like in life, everything is a balance. You can have too much of something, right? In my opinion, I feel like you can abuse anything. You can abuse sugar, you can abuse alcohol, social media, you can abuse working too much. Like this is legit. We start to give our time and fill up our space and fill up our schedule so much to the point that we can't be alone. And it's scary at first, but once you do it, it is so rewarding to feel peace and feel content. And you guys, I promise, months ago, I could not be alone. I was always asking what a friend was doing. I was always trying to ask, someone to go to lunch with me, someone to hang out with me. And now I've hit a place where I love being alone. And I'm a very social person. I really am. And I love having fun, and I love going to get lunch, and I love having that balance of going out, but also, being very, but also, relaxing. And I'm actually working on that still. We all have things to work on. But I know now that I really appreciate my peace and my time. I've done the work. I've forced myself, and it was hard. It was hard to be alone. I forced myself to say no. Every time a thought came up in my head, oh, let me just ask what so-and-so is doing. Let me just ask Caitlin what she's doing. Oh, let me just ask my best friend. Da, 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 da. Oh my God, it's Friday night. Oh, it's Saturday night. Oh, I'm going to go out. Oh, I have nothing else better to do. That's great. Everything has intention behind it. Like, what is your intention behind going out? Is it because you can't be at home alone by yourself in your thoughts? Because I can assure you, once you're home alone and you're at peace and you can sit in your thoughts and you genuinely enjoy yourself and you genuinely know that not everything and anyone deserves that peace, deserves your time. And once you start realizing that your time is valuable and you want to use your time to be more productive, going out every single Friday, Saturday, Sunday night doesn't sound that good anymore. Going out every weekend doesn't sound that great anymore. And again, no judgment, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying, what is the intention behind it? And yeah, sometimes I go out. I know I do. I'm not hating on y'all, so don't come at me in the comments. Have you ever just stayed in for a week? I bet you'd go fucking crazy. I bet you would. I bet you most of us, if we stayed at home for a week and genuinely just sat in our thoughts and spent time with ourselves, we would be going crazy. Am I right or am I right? Can I get a huh-ya? Can I get a huh-ya? Can I get a hoo-ya? Yeah, you know it. You probably fucking know it. So because we're single, we get lonely. And because we get lonely, we accept and settle for less. Especially when you fucking walk out of your house and all you see is a beautiful couple. When you're at the store and you see a couple and it's like, oh my God, well, shit, this sucks. And then, when it's the holidays and everyone's posting with their significant other and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, fuck you, Tommy and Rachel. You get the gist. It gets hard. There was a time when I was freshly single and all of my friends were in relationships. And when I say all, I mean all. And I'm sure a lot of you are experiencing this as well. And that's another thing to keep in mind is we all are experiencing the same shit, okay? Let's remember that. That is the point of the podcast, is that somehow all of us here in the Styles After Dark community, we can all relate to something in some way or another. Till this day, all my friends are in relationships. And it fucking sucks, especially when they're all in happy, healthy, committed relationships. It's a very human and natural thing to feel like you want that, like you're missing that. We all are in different timing. We all have a different path. Maybe right now it's just not the time. We're always in a rush to make the next step, to rush life, but you can't rush life. You can't rush your timing. You can't rush God's timing. You need to trust in God's timing. I think what I've done and what is a good thing for everyone to do is you need to write down what you're looking for in friendships and relationships. What is it that you are looking for in a friend? What is it that you're looking for in a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Write those things down. And if your list doesn't match up to what someone is, bringing onto the table, then maybe rethink if you want that relationship in your life. And on that list, you're going to write down your non-negotiables, your deal breakers, what you need from someone in a relationship. You know that you need that. That is something you need. That is something that is non-negotiable. And then also you're going to write down your triggers. Yes, guys, triggers are important because certain people can trigger things more than others. Someone who is constantly triggering you might not be the best person for you in your life. For a prime example, like me, I know that someone who drinks and drives is a trigger for me. I have personal reasons on why I cannot be with someone who does that. And I know that sounds like, I know that sounds like common sense. And some of you are probably like, well, yeah, duh, Uber. But it's not. And there's a lot of people that drink and drive. And there's no judgment to people who do that. It's your life. You can do what you want. But I personally, that's just not something I can deal with. And I know that about myself. So being with someone who doesn't prioritize Ubering or doesn't prioritize, not drinking and driving, I just know I can't be with someone like that. Now that you're working on yourself and that you're on this journey of, okay, I'm single. I don't want to distract myself anymore. I want to be happy with being alone. Now you're going to start getting some interest, some hobbies. So what does that look like? Well, when I started my journey, I knew that I was wanting to heal and become the best version of myself possible. So I didn't have any hobbies. I didn't know what I liked to do. And some of those things now look like, do something productive. And that can look like working out, playing pickleball. Haley, you're going to laugh at me. My friend Haley and I were talking about how we played pickleball once and we think that we're cool now or something. I started running. I didn't like it at first, but I now like running. Running is a hobby for me. Also like to read. I like to personally read self-improvement. It just helps a lot. And it's a good hobby of mine. And another hobby is podcast. I love to listen to podcasts. Podcasts are so fun. And there's a podcast for everyone. There's a podcast about sports. There's podcasts about self-improvement. There's fun podcasts. There's literally a podcast for anything. And they're so relatable. So you need to go out of your way to figure out what is it that you like. And it's okay if you don't love reading. It's okay if you don't like to, if you're not athletic. If you don't like to run, that's okay. But try it. See if you do. Put on your favorite song, go on a run, and see if you like it. And obviously, have good intention. Everything is about intention. When I was running, my intention was to prove to myself that I could say I'm going to do something and go through with it. Because I felt like that was my issue, was putting my mind to something and then not doing it right away. It's important while we're single that we really find out who we are, what our interests are, what we like. And now I've hit a place where I'm confident. I know what I like to do and I know what I don't like to do. Also, knowing what kind of people, what kind of friends I want in my life, what kind of significant other, what kind of relationship I want, what kind of boyfriend I want. So that's going to help you find out what girlfriend you're looking for, the qualities you need, the qualities you want from a girl, the qualities you want from a guy, a man. It is so important that we find out who we are. So when we're single, we need to be figuring this out. And if you're fresh out of a breakup, honey, trust the process. I'm praying for you, baby girl. I'm praying for you, baby boy. I am praying for you. If you just got out of a situationship, a 5-year situationship, because some of y'all be crazy. I'm kidding. No judgment here. I just got to say that because you guys need to understand. I'm joking 90% of the time. So let's dive into the statistics. I'm going to bring out the MacBook Pro real quick, y'all. This is from the Roots of the Loneliness Project. They did a study on people of all kinds of loneliness, but today we're going to be focusing on being scared of never finding the one, never being able to get into another happy, healthy, committed relationship. 52% of Americans report feeling lonely, while 47% report their relationships with others are not meaningful. You guys, can we listen to that? Some of you have friendships and relationships that aren't meaningful. There's categories in every friendship and relationship. I have my friends that I know I can literally tell anything and I don't feel judged and I can be vulnerable. I know that they have my back. I'm a social girl. I have people in my life that I know that are just a good time. So why are we wasting our time? Why do we get into relationships settling? Why do we get into relationships that don't support us? Why do we get into a relationship with someone who tries to control us? Why do we get into a relationship that someone doesn't love us for who we are? Why do we get into relationships with people who don't respect us? Why do we get into relationships with people who don't value us? With people who can't communicate? People who aren't willing to compromise because we settle. We settle. And why do we settle? Because we didn't do the work. We repeated the cycle. If you've gone through a heartbreak and you've jumped into something else and you haven't, and you find yourself in the same thing again, it's because you didn't find happiness and true self-love in the time that you had. That is one lesson we need to learn. We need to figure out what it is that we need to heal from, that we accept the bare minimum, that we accept the disrespect, that we accept these relationships that are meaningless. Take this time to be single. Stop focusing and looking for something and let the universe, let God, whatever you believe in, life itself, bring what's meant for you. With not respecting yourself, with not knowing what you like or what you don't like, with not being happy with yourself and being alone, you're going to attract all of those things. And I'm being super fucking straightforward because, hello, this is SofiaStyles After Dark, and some of us need to hear this, but we need to heal. And if we don't, we're going to keep hurting ourselves and other people. If you've been single for a while and you feel like it just isn't working out for you, you might be happy alone, but maybe you don't know how to compromise. Maybe commitment scares you. Maybe that person calls you out on your bullshit. So we're going to look at another statistic now, because this blew my mind. Wevorse, they ran a poll and said that out of 10 couples, 6 out of 10 were unhappily coupled. Can you fucking believe that? You want to know why? Because we are constantly settling. We would rather be comfortable. We don't think we deserve more. And it's not literally because we're telling that to ourselves. I'm not saying that you're sitting in the mirror, dead ass looking in the mirror being like, oh, I don't deserve more. Obviously, you're not fucking looking in the mirror and saying that. Deep down, we're doing that to ourselves, and we must believe that we're not reaching our full potential. So we're getting into these relationships and staying comfortable because we can't do the work. We're too lazy and we're too scared to face those fears. So what happens if you're single and you're happy being alone and you have done the work, whatever, but then you still can't seem like you're dating, you're putting yourself out there, but you still can't seem to find the one? Well, Miss Girl, Miss Man, there is a thing as being picky and unrealistic expectations. I don't believe that you can have too high of standards, because I do believe that the right person will meet those standards. There is someone out there that is going to treat you and give you everything you've ever wanted and asked for. There is a person that is going to meet those standards and those expectations, and I promise you are never asking for too much, but you might not be ready for that. And back to, sorry, before I get really passionate, but back to the girl or the guy who is being too picky. You might be okay with being lonely, but you might not be able to compromise. You might not be able to communicate, and you might be too stubborn. That is why I said to write the list and understand what your deal breakers are. But what's good is having someone that's different, sister, brother. You need different. You might be blocking a blessing. There is a point I feel that people reach that they just go too hard. And again, like I said earlier, too much of something can be bad. And maybe you need to work on that. I have a story for you guys. I'm going to get personal here. So I was dating this guy. I was a little more fresh out of my relationship. Again, I was looking. Thank God this didn't work out. I was going to settle because I hadn't done the work, one. And two, because I didn't know what I liked and what I didn't like. And three, because of his looks. This man was so good looking. This man had a great body. And a lot of men and women do this is we come across and we start dating to, we start talking to, you guys start hooking up with someone with all these physical amazing features, and now we have the fucking blind goggles on. We're missing all the red motherfucking flags because this person is so attractive. And that initial attraction, well, guess what? It fades. And then we find ourselves unhappy later on. He started to show me the same qualities from a relationship, from my past relationship. And I was kind of like low-key denying them. I was like, no, can't see it. And he was just doing things that I already knew triggered me. You just know. You always know. But we try to talk ourselves out of it. Of course, attraction is important and you need to be attracted to the person you're with, but it's not everything. And I think we need to be more aware of when we're focusing too much on looks. Ask yourself if you really actually do like them. Then I realized that motherfucker was boring, and maybe not boring to someone else, but boring to me now. Like, he was boring, like dead ass boring as hell. Feel like a lot of y'all are guilty of it, sister, brother. Like, hello, are they a good person? Do they respect you? Do they value you? Are they trying to change you? Are they controlling you? Can you be yourself around them? Now the cycle continued. You tell me what's easier. Us having fun, living life, not thinking too much, going with the flow. Let's just party, live it up, right? Okay, Now you're in an unhappy relationship. Now you have shitty friends. What is harder? Saying no is really hard. And you start realizing your worth and you start realizing what you deserve. Being single is a great thing. And the best relationship that you can have is with yourself. Because once you build that relationship with yourself and once you're a better you for everybody else. Whew. Life really does start bringing amazing things and amazing relationships and amazing friendships. And you're single, go explore, be happy, go travel, go have fun with your friends. And we have time. We have time to grow up. There's no rush. But of course, if you meet that special someone, adds to your life, makes your life better, then yeah, then it's time to go for it. And being single is fucking cool. And sorry for getting deep with you guys today. I feel like God wanted me to do this today. And I feel like some of us needed to hear this today. And I hope that I spoke to some of y'all. I really do. We have like our last sip of wine. Like I always say, I like to call my men kings. So if you're a king watching this, bless up, king. You know your worth and you're going to find out your worth. And so don't settle and stop going for like the pretty girl and that you don't even like in here. Okay. And for the girls, ladies, queens, it's time. It's time to realize your worth. Yeah, that was this week's episode, Single Pringle. I literally spoke my heart out today and I had so much fun doing it. The next episode is going to be with my best friend. Not saying which one because I have many, but you guys, if you know, you know. And yeah, we're going to be going over friendships and outgrowing people and communication and the true meaning of friendships, which is pretty cool that we kind of went over that a little bit today because I think it's important. And remember, baby, Single Pringle is where it's at. Us singles got to live it up. Thank you for tuning in to Styles After Dark. I appreciate you guys. And up until next week's episode, I will see you guys then. Have a good week. Bye, y'all.